location. And it would not take much for them to get 100 names.
If you're talking about the Patriot Act, they already have all access to all the information that we're talking about.
I know, it's just making
regardless
it
of
easier.
this.
So
Yeah, I know,
it
it's
has
just-
nothing to do with this.
It's just making it easier.
But-
because you have to think, if you make things frustrating, then all of these people who are actually
Just
doing
takes
it don't
longer.
really care.
But okay, but
They
what
all
if it's
agree.
like? I mean, but the people they're looking for, like, let's say it's a very bad person. Is that a bad thing to make it easier? Less red tape to go through. Again, devil's advocate here. It makes it a lot easier to find out all this really bad information about this horrible person that's going around murdering thousands. That's an exaggeration. Dozens and dozens of people.
Well, but,
Weapons of mass destruction.
well, no, 2 or 3 years ago when we had people in the DC area shooting,
Oh, the snipers, yeah.
you know, snipers, wouldn't we have liked to have been able to look at cameras, follow their trails, you know?
Just take a look at a cell phone.
Yeah, a lot more people.
But I mean, not even look at their cell phone, but ask Google, is there a cell phone that's been in these 7 locations
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
At this time, yeah.
at these times, you know? And if we happen, you know, if I happen to hypothetically be in those 7 locations as well.
Dr. White is going to be charged with so many crimes by the end of this video.
Absolutely.
That was hypothetical to
But you know,
I love how you put the
if there were 3 people who had been in those locations at that time, wouldn't we like to know it, especially if we were living in the area?
I mean, obviously they wouldn't automatically arrest someone because of that, but it would narrow it down to 3 people instead of like
Thousands.
100,000 people. Like, it would narrow it down significantly to the people that were in this situation. So, I mean, like, they would only, like, they could, like, I guess the government wouldn't just, like, well, I guess it would.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, you know, the people that they're looking for have, in the government's eyes, have done something wrong. And they're trying to find information. It would expedite the process.
I like the process being very slow and
But, I mean, yes, it's slow,
it's
but
just, it's becoming a lot easier over time. It's like every couple of years, it's being centralized.
And it's been doing, and the thing is, it hasn't been doing that just over the last, like, 2-3 years. It's
I'm
been happening
thinking like
since-
over the last couple of decades.
Yeah, exactly. And it's been happening, though. And it's just one little slow thing at a time. I mean, this could be a paradigm, like a shift in like what you can do. It could not be. It's hard to tell during the current time, but this could be a significant thing. It could just be another little stepping stone in the process. But as Dr. White said, you're being recorded everywhere already.
Yeah.
So I mean, does Google's privacy policy matter at that point if it's already happening? I'm not
I
actually.
mean, if you do take it that seriously, then just get off the grid. I mean, get rid of cell phones, get rid of the internet, get rid of everything that you have to keep connected
We
with
have
people.
deserts in the world that nobody wants to go find you in.
I mean, yeah, I know if, like, for me,
No, they can actually find you.
Oh, I know.
Like,
I'm saying
personally,
we don't want to go in there to find you.
if I really wanted to, and like I was like, if something came down where, like, say Christianity was illegal and I needed to hide from the government, I know plenty of places I could go in this country to hide from where they would not find me. And so,
What about things like Google Earth? It's gonna
I mean, I would completely go off the grid. Like,
No,
I'd go
but
completely
what
off
I'm
the grid.
saying though is, eventually, like Google currently, let's say Google Earth. Right now, it's still images, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, technology is going to advance to the point where they can do a live feed of like what's happening on the Earth. Like, I mean, what's to keep them from doing something like that?
Track a car chase by satellite.
Yeah.
See, that sort of thing is good because you get so much information that it becomes hard to use. Unless you're looking for very specific locations at very specific times.
But-
I'm thinking more about everything you've done over the past long period of time is being centralized under one specific location that can be easily pulled.
But well, what keeps the government from zooming in onto your house and seeing what you do outside your house 24 hours a
The
day?
difference is they have to have some sort of cause to do that, whereas now you can see, all right, here are all of these flags that centralize under one person. I'm suddenly going to get a list of 10,000 people who do meet all of those flags, and I'm going to start monitoring them more closely.
Why can't they just have the 10,000 people and have monitors on each one of their houses? It's the same thing as doing a stakeout.
Yeah, they don't need any sort of permission to take a picture,
I know,
especially from space. So
there's so much more of a reason or ability for them to focus on that exact information about me, though.
You don't have a problem.
But again,
with
the rules of
collecting
private companies.
No, it's it being easier to get.
flagging, it's highlighting the city.
Even with Google Earth, they couldn't find it.
Oh, yeah.
Do finance.
Actually, changing my views on this, actually, I don't like that Google is actually storing this information because if you use it online, it has so much of your past information, everything is social media covered. So by when you're 50, you're gonna have a whole life.
Right. I mean, like nowadays, it's not even like a paper trail at this point. It's like a, internet, like a cyber trail kind
I
of.
believe it's
I know.
called a footprint.
Right, digital footprint.
Digital footprint.
Yeah, I know. Like my dad, who's a landlord, he gets criminal background checks from people and stuff, and it gives you every little thing that person's done in the last, I think, like 10 years or so. Like, and you can find that kind of information about people, and the more information there is to collect, the more information you can get in on it. And you don't have to be a landlord. You can go, I think, find this information about anyone. You can pay like a $10 fee or whatever.
Well, let's say
Yeah, it
this.
doesn't, to get, like, my dad rents property to people, he can call in, and as long as he's got a name and a driver's license, he can get information on anybody. You just gotta sign up for it, essentially.
Yeah.
But it's having so much more of that information specifically tied to. Like, let's say, for instance, someone in this room decides to run for, like, Congress or something. Like, something big where there's a media focus on. All of a sudden, one time or you had a couple of times where you were researching about chloroform because you were curious on the subject. Just idle curiosity. And suddenly, all that is done, taken out of context. It looks like you were looking at trying to kill someone. You're not someone that we should trust, whereas you were doing it more for your own education.
But isn't that what the media is like anyway with presidential
But
candidates at
it's
this point?
making it's giving them so much more information. to
But,
work.
I mean, it's one thing to look at chloroform on Google, it's another thing to look at chloroform on Google and then the next day have a cell phone location in the house where the person was captured.
Like,
You would have to really almost try to fit the criteria that they're going to use.
in fact, it would give more context to the information. So, like, let's say you looked up chloroform, and then nothing else happened to it. That's fine, but if you take chloroform, then you're in someone's house, or you're like
Or somebody
to
goes
buy
missing.
chloroform, or
I think we're going to see cases of that with politicians, but then
Yeah.
I am so old. You don't remember when smoking marijuana and having a history of having any marijuana ever, even if you didn't inhale, excluded you from public office. I mean, you may have read about cases, but if they knew you had marijuana at all ever in your lifetime, that was a kiss of death. And that has changed.
Now it's a joke. Like our president smoked in college.
Yeah, well, no, George Bush's youthful indiscretions were when he was my age. But, yeah, and we don't call me youthful. I think that what's going to happen is someone's going to say, but you search for chloroform. It probably in the next 5 years. And 15 years from now, people are going to go, oh my gosh, people search for everything. That's not something we should consider. Having an affair, is that still a big deal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gingrich.
Well,
Well, I think Gingrich,
that South Carolina governor got that was.
well, it wasn't that he had
He
an
lied.
affair. He was a governor and had left to go out of the country.
Yeah, but I mean, there was someone that had that there was an affair. Not him. But there was another one that had around the same time.
Herman Cain's candidacy got chosen.
That's what it was. Yeah, Herman Cain.
Herman Cain.
But there are,
Candidacy.
Say you're talking about
well, I think that there are things that we look at, and I think your search history might be important, and we need to stand up and go, oh, that is so stupid. And, and we need to try not to pay attention to that. But is the fact that Google has consolidated their privacy policy really?
No, it doesn't change anything at all.
It's more of like one piece of a jigsaw puzzle of all the things that have happened so far. It's nowhere near complete, but it has a lot of pieces that have been there before.
It's just one of
Like-
the brighter colors that people see.
No, all they did was repaint the piece. The piece has already been there.
No, but I mean,
Well, they put the pieces together.
Yeah.
They now have a little.
They put 60
The thing
pieces
is,
together into one section.
It's like having one piece that's this size and just super gluing the sections as they were already next to each other and together.
Okay. So now it went farther than I thought it would. But yeah, exactly.
I mean, it was already together, already could be pulled, but now they just made it easier.
But I mean, I guess the important thing that I want everyone to take from this is not whether or not you agree or disagree with the privacy policy. This kind of thing happens all the time. I really want this to happen because of the current things that happen with SOPR. I'm not. They read it, so that's why. Yeah. SOPR.
I think
Protect
most
IP.
of us did.
I'm going to take SOPR Protect IP.
Yeah.
Got all this attention, and other things like this happen all the time. So it's important to look out for these kind of things when they do occur and be informed about these things as technological people. It's the same thing as if, let's say, my sister, who's trying to, is actually going to be a doctor. If I had if there was something coming out where she knew some medical information about there, I would like her to tell me about it, because she has more experience in that kind of thing. I personally have no idea. I'm horrible with the sciencey things. So I look to her for guidance for that kind of thing. And I'm sure, I know the majority of people in here probably has, the majority of their family isn't very technologically inclined. I mean, my family has dial-up at home. They look to me for everything. I get calls where I have to step my mom through stuff on her computer without seeing a screen, just
Skype is a wonderful thing, man.
dial-up. Can't do it. Anyway, but it comes down to just like,
It's not like you would tell your grandmother that Google Earth was live and she should go out and wave.
who would do that? I did that. It was hilarious. I'll tell you after. The important thing is that they look to you for like these kind of information. Like, let's say your grandma is watching the news one night and this comes up. She might see that all your information's on there, and because she doesn't know a lot about it, she would freak out about it. It's our jobs as technological people to understand this information and be able to calm people down, or say, yeah, you should be concerned about this, and give them the actual information when it comes up, because a lot of times this information kind of gets overlooked, and as technological people, it's kind of our responsibility to be on top of these kind of things.
Yeah, it's kind of the whole with great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly.
So, like we have this power of knowing what's going on with as far as like computers and stuff go. It's our responsibility to inform those who are not as well informed and we're not as knowledgeable on the subject to what's going on, so they don't flip out when something crazy happens.
Exactly. Just like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Did this privacy policy mention anything about privacy and copyright music?
Pull it up.
Yeah.
I
Look.
thought they left that out on purpose.
Well, no, but I mean, the thing is, like, if all the information's in one place and you're doing piracy stuff, or like Tim mentioned earlier, let's say you YouTube a video of how to rent DVDs.
They have been.
See, I don't like the idea of the government passing a really stupid law like SOPA or BIPA, and then all of a sudden they just go into one place like Google and see, oh, 100,000 people got this pirated thing. Well, I'm going to charge them all with a huge fine.
Right.
Which is very feasible. It could very easily happen in relatively.
I've heard very.
The thing with piracy is that Google is responsible for checking everything.
Oh, it's not so bad.
So
Compared to.
if by some way you were able to figure out something about piracy on YouTube or something like that, technically Google would be responsible.
Right.
Nothing's there.
Like how to rip a DVD is not supposed to be on it.
But it's on there all the time.
It's on there all the time. Google's pretty good about taking them down.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I've seen YouTube videos of things that have a URL in the video and say, we can't show this information, but here's a URL. I looked for piracy in there. I didn't see the word in there. What was it? It was piracy, and what was the other thing you were looking for?
Copyright.
Copyright, okay. I mean, I think that this is more talking about like the information that they can collect and stuff. The thing with illegal information is we talked about this, but the government. I think is it under the Patriot Act they can do this, or is it just they can?
under the Patriot Act, they can do pretty much.
Right, but anyway, so basically,
No, but they backed up
it's
a
the
lot
same
of the
thing as
laws.
having a warrant,
Yeah.
basically. They can go to Google and say, we'd like this information on Sean, and we think he's doing illegal activities, and we want to know more about it. And then they could see that piracy information about them. So they would have that information, but it wouldn't be like